James Gunn is a narcissist to the max. That is just one of the many things that I will be talking about in today's video. Um, a couple of other things I'm going to be talking about are creature commandos and the overall and how that show is doing. I'm going to be talking about James Gunn's supposed vision for DC, for the DCU. So let's get started. But the thing that I really, really want to cover here is James Gunn's just narcissistic behavior, because he really is a narcissist to the max. I am going to bring up what he said to somebody. I'm going to bring up what he said to someone over the weekend. This is absolutely disgusting. So there was, so somebody on X, somebody on X, I hope you guys can see that okay. This is from X. This tweet comes from Paul F. Wood. Now, for context, James Gunn, I'm sorry. I really shouldn't be laughing, but the only reason why I'm laughing right now is because James Gunn is such a fucking narcissist. This is just, this is such a James Gunn thing to say, because he's just, he's so disgusting. Hold on, guys. Sorry. I lost the thing. Here we go. So James Gunn apparently has this brilliant theory that he has like this bot on Twitter that will apparently delete, all of his old tweets after a certain amount of days, which of course, is bullshit. So this tweet comes from Brian F. Wood. It says here, "Oh, you blame that on X? Give me a break, James Gunn. The government literally censored Americans on every platform for years, and you want to talk trash about true things on here? What's even funnier is that all it takes is you saying it's not true, like you've done with other rumors." And it's so and everything that that this guy said, especially the part about James Gunn, shooting down basically every single rumor there is is right on the money, because he apparently said, this was just revealed recently, Matt Reeves the Batman, which of course is Elseworlds. It's not it's not part of the DCU. It's Elseworlds. James Gunn shot down the rumor that he wanted to bring Robert Pattinson's Batman into the DCU. That was something he originally shot down. However, just recently it was revealed that he literally actually considered doing that at one point. So he lied about that. Surprise, surprise. And then of course, he originally said that Blue Beetle, I know I said this in my last in one of the last videos that I did, but originally he said that Blue Beetle was going to be the first character in his DCU, and that didn't end up happening. And then and of course he's saying, "Oh yeah, the Batman Part 2 is is not canceled. We're eagerly awaiting Matt Reeves' script. Right now, the movie is actually being stalled, and I literally wouldn't put it past Gunn. I literally wouldn't put it past Gunn if he's the reason why the movie's taking so long. Um, I know I say this in every, Superman and or James Gunn video I do, but it's so important, for people to understand this. James Gunn only cares about James Gunn. That is all he cares about. So I'm going to bring up James Gunn's response to this person. And his response to this person is not only absolutely disgusting, but it is absolutely a narcissistic thing to say. He should, he just, he had absolutely no right to talk to this person the way that he did. He was so determined, in his mind, he was so determined to win this argument and, and to prove a point that he had to use the most narcissistic low blow possible, in order to prove his point. So I'm gonna read here what he said. It said, "If I'm correct, it seems your father just died, and I'm sorry about that. So I understand you being upset, but I was talking about the internet, not about X. And the original poster was making a joke, and so was I." So, this is, literally the only way that he could have known about this was to, do some very, very serious research, and go through this person's very, very personal information. That is absolutely disgusting. That is, I can't even find the words to tell you how disgusting that is. That is literally the definition of a narcissist. It really is. It literally is. That is just beyond disgusting. The fact that James Gunn feels the need to go after this person's family and, in order to prove his point, that is absolutely disgusting. And he had no right at all. And he had no right at all to go into this person's personal information and do that. First of all, he shouldn't have responded to this person in the first place. He should have, he had absolutely no right to do that. The another thing I want to bring up is if you are another thing I want to bring up is I'm going to bring this up briefly. Joss Whedon. And now, if you are familiar, I'm sure most people are familiar with the enormous amount of controversy that the Justice League movie caused. And obviously, a lot of that was due to, it was obviously due to, like his behavior on the set of the movie. For example, he threatened Gal Gadot on set. He threatened Gal Gadot on set. He he removed a lot of, he obviously, completely revamped the movie, obviously, because, Zack Snyder, stepped away due to, a family tragedy, that he suffered, at that time. So, and just treated, Ray Fisher, who played Cyborg in the movie, and Ray Fisher, who's black, Whedon absolutely removed a lot of Ray Fisher scenes because he said, and I quote, "Oh yeah, he's a bad actor," and it's not, and which is code which is code for, which is basically code for, oh yeah, I'm a fucking racist. So, so, but you're probably saying, oh, now some of you are probably thinking, oh, well, what does this have to do with James Gunn? Well, I'm getting to that. James Gunn, is somebody, I don't remember if it was somebody that asked him directly or if it was in an interview, but James Gunn literally said that the reason why, he literally said Joss Whedon left social media because of the toxic fan base. Excuse me. You can literally go online. I'm not shitting you. You can literally go online if you Google, Justice League controversy or you look at Ray Fisher's vendetta online against Warner Brothers. You will literally find solid proof. You will literally find solid proof at just literally how bad of a guy Joss Whedon is. Now, thankfully, he's not doing movies anymore, because if you go online, his life story literally actually, all of these like allegations and all of these, allegations and, his life story basically came out a few years ago, and it pretty much killed his entire career. Because if you notice, he literally hasn't done anything since, since Justice League. But no, going back to the James Gunn. He now Elon Musk disabled disabled the feature of being able to like tweets on X, and Alan Tudyk, the actor who is just an absolute fucking moron. He actually defended Joss Whedon and said, I've known, he literally said, I've known Joss Whedon for 17 years, and it's really, really hard to believe that he would do something like that. Now, that tweet by Alan Tudyk was liked by James Gunn, even though there is more than enough proof out there online, and literally, quotes, and literally, more than enough, not to mention, and not only proof, but also actors, from the Justice League movie who will confirm, who will confirm, Joss Whedon's overall, behavior during that movie. There is more than enough proof out there to confirm everything, to confirm all of the bad behavior, during, on set during that movie. So the fact that James Gunn is willing, is willing, to come to the defense of somebody so toxic is disgusting. But you know what? That is who James Gunn is. That is who James Gunn is. The other thing that I wanted to address in this video. Creature Commandos. Now, when this show was first announced, it was revealed that the show was going to have an X rating. Now, obviously, when I first heard that, my thoughts were, what the fuck? And I have been following quite a few reviews on, on YouTube. And, I've been following, quite a bit of, reviews on YouTube. Critics, of course, are eating this up. They love it. General audiences, for the most part, not so much. And there's obviously, there's obviously a very good reason for that. Because, Creature Commandos marks the first project in James Gunn's DCU. So the DCU is, is here. It's already started with Creature Commandos. And I honestly, I haven't seen the first 2 episodes yet. I will probably be watching the first 2 episodes at some point this week and giving you my review and my thoughts. I'm really, really not looking forward to it. However, I will be doing it for you guys. But I cannot think of a worse way to kick off the DCU, because now I know that, obscure, uncommon characters are, have always been, Gunn's thing, but this is a show that, I've literally seen, like, a lot of adults say that this is literally just, this is like middle school, this is like middle school, like elementary school humor. This is like elementary school, middle school, like fucking potty humor. It's just, it's so disgusting, and it's so, it's so disgusting, and just, it's so disgusting, and so, it's literally like the lowest common denominator of humor. And like, and now again, I have yet to watch the first 2 episodes, but from doing, a good amount of research, these characters in the show is literally a Suicide Squad ripoff. Like, you could literally place, the characters from Gunn's Suicide Squad movie in here, and literally nobody would be able to tell the difference. It's literally like, it's very much on par. The humor is very, very much on par with both Peacemaker and Gunn's Suicide Squad movie. And it's such like a dirty, like a dirty, filthy, disgusting, potty, type of humor. And it's, and it's just, and it's narcissistic, and it's gross. Like, for example, according to, I shit you not, according to, literally from like any review that I've literally from any review that I've seen so far, every single review that I have read and or watched about this show, everyone, excuse me, everyone has voiced their surprise at how extremely horny this show is. I shit you not. All the characters in the show are literally obsessed with fucking one another. And this is the type of stuff that James Gunn finds funny. He did it, he did it in Peacemaker. He did it in Peacemaker, which, he did it in Peacemaker, and which did not do as well as people think it did. Literally, the only reason why that show is getting a second season, obviously, is because James Gunn is now the head of DC Studios. That is the only reason why a second season got greenlit. And, another thing that I want to bring up, is, the other thing I want to bring up is Peter Safran is supposed to be, the other head of DC, of DC Studios. Literally nobody ever hears a word from him. Literally, it's all about James Gunn. It's all about him. We never hear literally a single word from Safran. When literally in reality, the decisions, like to cancel, like the overall decision, to cancel things, is supposed to be going through Mike DeLuca, Pam Abdi, James Gunn, Peter Safran, and David Zaslav. Those 5 people together are supposed to be making the decision. But James Gunn, and just his overall massive ego, and his overall massive ego and narcissistic behavior, he's apparently the one, now, obviously, I can't say for sure if he's the one, making all the decisions, because obviously, I'm not, because obviously I'm, I would obviously, have nothing to back that up. But given, some of the, the amount of research that I do, and just, judging from Gunn's, absolutely disgusting behavior and everything else, I think it's a pretty safe bet that he's the one making the decision. And just, this is not, I really can't think of a worse way to kick off, the DCU, because the DC, DC is something that's supposed to appeal to everybody, and you have, and with fucking, Creature Commandos, you literally have adults that are even, being turned off by its humor, not, and this is something obviously that James Gunn doesn't think about, like the stuff that he finds funny, like the stuff that he finds funny, it doesn't he doesn't think, oh, well, is this something, is this something, that other people would enjoy? He doesn't, he doesn't think about stuff like that. Like, look at, like, look at the first Aquaman movie. Look at the first Aquaman movie. I mean, that movie literally made like $1 billion. And, and one of the reasons why, I think it did so well, um, obviously one of the reasons being, a lot of people love, a lot of people love, Jason. Um, other than, reasons like that, I think a lot of people really, really dug, um, I think a lot of people really, really dug, like the humor in that movie, and the, as well as, obviously, like the, as well as obviously, like the, like the Atlanta setting and stuff like that. But, it was very much Aquaman, the first Aquaman was very much like in tone with, the MCU. It wasn't dark. Um, it wasn't, like a dark and gritty, um, movie. It was very, like lighthearted, and, it was very, like lighthearted and just funny. Um it was a movie that, it was a movie for everybody, you know and, and with Creature Commandos, it's like, it's just, it's the narcissistic, you know it's just with, with Creature Commandos, it's that disgusting, it's that disgusting narcissistic, middle school, elementary, potty humor. And, um and it's obviously something that would, it's something that would appeal to a very specific, group of people. And it's not, and, like kids obviously wouldn't be able to watch it. I mean, it's definitely a show that's not for kids. And it's just, it's absolutely disgusting, and Gunn is disgusting. This is, um which brings me to the next thing that I'd like to talk about. James Gunn fans. James Gunn fans are disgusting. James Gunn fans, excuse me, sorry. James Gunn fans are literally treating James Gunn like he's a saint. He can do no wrong. You know, he these are obviously the same people who hate Zack Snyder, who like to call Zack Snyder fans cultists. That is disgusting. But, and these are obviously the same people who claimed that the Snyder Cut didn't exist. And obviously they were wrong, because the Snyder Cut obviously got released. But to call, you know, but, but to bully someone, but to bully a group of people and call them cultists just because they support, one person's vision for DC, to call them cultists is disgusting. Like, it is toxic, and it is absolutely disgusting. You people are disgusting. You you know, people like that, people like that need to get a life. They need to get a life. They need to grow the fuck up, and they need to get a life. They need to grow the fuck up. They they need to get a life. They need to grow the fuck up, and they need to stay the fuck off social media because they obviously don't know, because they obviously don't know how to be mature about it. And and I mean, I could, I mean, literally, I mean, literally, the comments in the bullshit, that these type of people come out with is mind blowing. It literally, it literally is. These are James Gunn fans are some of the biggest fucking lowlives I have ever seen in my life, and it is disgusting. I mean, it is absolutely disgusting. And the way, and you know, anybody anybody who is willing to defend James Gunn after the narcissistic anybody who is willing to defend James Gunn after the narcissistic tweet that I read to you guys in this video, anybody who is willing to defend him after something like that is disgusting and a piece of shit. I mean, I mean, it's just, it's just, it's mind blowing, you know? I mean, and and it's like these people are just looking for something to do, so they bully, so they bully Snyder fans, you know? It's just, it's disgusting. Um, the final thing that I want to bring up in this video is James Gunn's apparently overall plan for the DCU. Um, um, he apparently said, um, hang on, let me find it. Um, so James Gunn's plan for the DCU, from what I understand, is the way that he compared it. The way that he compared his DCU is basically to Star Wars. Is basically to Star Wars, which alone should be a red flag because Star Wars is in it because Star Wars is in shambles right now. It's a mess. And to compare your your franchise to another franchise that's literally in shambles right now, to another franchise that's literally in shambles right now is not a good idea. Um, is not a good idea at all. He basically said, um, he basically said, he basically said, there's not going to be, for the DCU, there's not, each project is going to be like its own, like individual thing. There's not going to be, like this huge, like overarching baddie, controlling everything like there was, in the MCU. That alone, right there is an immediate turnoff because because you know because there's no because because that means there will be no, like exciting buildup to hold all this, to hold there will be no, like overarching buildup to look forward to that's holding, like all this stuff together. Like for example, like when the for example, like Marvel Phase One, like when they were doing, like Thor, Captain America, Iron Man, you obviously knew that all of that, was building up to the Avengers. Um, so apparently James Gunn, um, doesn't, doesn't want to do any of that. He doesn't want to do any of that type of thing. I really can't see a worse way. I really can't, think of a worse way. Um, I really can't think of a worse way, or, a worse plan. Um, for this universe. I mean, look at the Snyder Cut. I mean, it's considered, you know, I mean, fans, were screaming for it for so long, and it finally got released. And it finally got released, and it finally got released. And one of the reasons, obviously, that they were screaming for it for so long, because they wanted to, see, because that they obviously wanted to see, the Justice League versus Steppenwolf. And obviously that would lead up to Darkseid, and and all that other stuff. But Zack Snyder had, Zack Snyder had, like such a clear vision at what he wanted to do, and people loved it. And people loved it. With with this, with Gunn, there's no plan. There's none of that. He's just bringing in, from the sound of it, he just wants to bring in, like all these characters, and literally have, like, and just have them be, like their own individual, like their own, like individual thing, with no, like overall buildup, or, like arcing plan. I mean, I just, I can't think of a worse, I honestly can't think of a worse, a worse idea, for your DC universe. I mean, this is, James Gunn is just, he's so in over his head. He's got no clue what he's doing. And this alone, and this alone is going to be one giant shit show. I guarantee it. The final, I know I said this already, but there's one more thing that I want to bring up, that I forgot about. I want to bring up the rumored test screening results for Superman. So Superman apparently has already had two test screenings. One at the Warner Brothers, Screen Lot, which I think I already addressed in another video. Obviously, it didn't go well. The other one is, it had a screening in LA recently, and this is just a rumor. Now, if you watch my channel, you know that, again, I do, a fair amount of research before I make, videos about this kind of stuff. I don't go, I don't go off of, just rumors. However, However, it is rumored that the Superman test screening in LA did not go over well at all. Now, I'm obviously not a person, to go off of, I'm obviously, not a person, to take rumors seriously. However, however, um, However, I think it's pretty safe to say that this rumor is true. I mean, come on. There is literally no hype for this movie. I've said it many, 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 many times. Nobody is excited, um, for this movie. When James Gunn announced that Henry Cavill wouldn't be returning and that he would be, doing his own thing, he didn't just piss off Henry Cavill fans. He also pissed off Superman and Lois fans because remember that show just ended and that show was canceled, obviously because of James Gunn's Superman movie coming out. The plan originally for Superman and Lois was 7 seasons. And obviously, again, that show ended up being canceled, obviously, because of Gunn's Superman. And that show had a very, very massive fan base. A lot of people really, really loved that show. So, Gunn literally has two groups of people that he pissed off: Henry Cavill fans and Superman and Lois fans. So you can definitely bet your ass that both of those groups of people will be boycotting this movie. And I'm sure I've said this before. James Gunn is doing the opposite of what fans want. Fans don't want a recast. They want Henry Cavill back as Superman. And James Gunn, obviously, I'm going to say it again. James Gunn only cares about James Gunn. He doesn't care about what the fans want. In fact, when James Gunn first announced his Chapter 1 slate of DC, legendary and fan favorite comic book writer Chuck Dixon completely slammed his ideas, saying that he has no clue what the fans want. And Chuck Dixon is absolutely right. He doesn't, and he doesn't care what the fans want. He only cares about what he wants. That is what James Gunn does. And when this and like I said before, when this movie bombs, James Gunn will be fired. He'll be fired. And I really wouldn't be surprised if after this movie bombs, Warner Brothers Discovery just ends up shelving DC as a whole until it wouldn't surprise me if they just shelve DC until somebody buys it. It really that wouldn't surprise me at all. Because again, Warner Brothers Discovery is on the verge of bankruptcy. So, and it's just, it's fucking bullshit that, that this movie is, that this movie, is getting released because it's pretty obvious, that Warner Brothers Discovery, has no faith in it. And the thing that, that David Zaslav said, when he, when Warner Brother, when Discovery bought Warner Brothers, is if we don't have faith in it, we won't release it. And I know I said this before, but you obviously don't have any faith in Superman, so why are you releasing it? You shelved the Batgirl movie because you didn't have any faith in it. So why aren't you shelving this too? I mean, I don't know. I just, it, but yeah, I'm just, I'm just, and another thing that that Gunn said recently, which really shows you how much he cares about DC. James Gunn goes, "Oh yeah, canon doesn't matter." It's like, you fucking kidding me? I mean, what the fuck? I mean, and nothing that James Gunn is doing is making any sense at all. Nothing. Apparently, I remember seeing a report saying that um, originally Peacemaker season one wouldn't saying that Peacemaker season one wouldn't be canon, and seeing that season one of a Peacemaker wouldn't be canon, but Peacemaker season two takes place, I think it was like after Superman or something like that. So apparently James Gunn changed his mind about that because season one of Peacemaker apparently is canon, except for the Justice League scene, which of course, yes, it's Zack Snyder's, Justice League. But, he of course said that's not canon because why? It's not his. He's removing everything and anything that is not directly related to his thing. That is so fucking selfish. That is such a fucking selfish thing to do. And not to mention, it screams at just how much ego James Gunn has. And apparently, and I've seen conflicting reports about this. James Gunn's Suicide Squad, movie. I've seen conflicting reports on whether or not it is canon or it's not canon. So it's like, so which is it? This is the kind of stuff that I'm talking about when I say that James Gunn has no fucking clue what he's doing. It's like, it's like when you were, it's like when you, it's like, when you have worked with a company before and then they decide, to bring you on as head of that property, whatever it is, you don't just make, everything that you've ever done, everything, that you've ever done, just because you've worked with that studio canon. Why? Because it's going to confuse the hell out of your audience. I mean, and and I can't tell you how many people I've seen, how many reactions that I've seen, or how many people that I've, that I've watched, say that they're confused as hell, about what, about what James Gunn has planned, because it's so, like all over the place. It's such a mess. And And, and this goes, and it goes back to what I said before. James Gunn has no plan. James James Gunn's vision makes sense to one person and one person alone, and that is James Gunn. That's it. That's it. That's it. It makes sense to him and him alone, which is just, which is completely bullshit. And it's definitely, going to turn a lot of people away. It definitely is. And it's, it's already turning people away because, remember, Creature Commandos, obviously, and, obviously, critics are eating it up, obviously, but the general audiences, like general audiences are, for the most part, are not really liking it. And, and obviously, the critic, and, and when it comes to studios, studios aren't looking at, critic scores. They're looking at, the general audience, consensus, how much money it makes, and the viewership. Critic, so people can, so James Gunn fans, they can, so James Gunn fans, they can fucking flash, the Rotten Tomatoes score in your face, or, or whatever bullshit, that they want to bring up, and, and throw in your face all you want. It's not going to matter. At the end of the day, it's not going to matter, because that's not what studios look at. That's not, that's not what studios are looking for in these types of projects. And I can guarantee, I can absolutely guarantee that Warner Brothers, that Warner Brothers Discovery is going to cover up the, is going to cover up, the overall, performance at the end of the day, or, like when the show ends, they're going to cover up the overall, they're going to cover up the overall, like viewership numbers, or whatever, and spit out and spin out, some false, bullshit tale, and say, oh yeah, it did great, when in reality it actually didn't, because they've done that before. And, this is the kind of bullshit that Warner Brothers does. And, and especially, and obviously, since, James Gunn is head of, DC Studios, of course he's gonna, try to spin it as, the viewership, of course he's gonna try to spin it as, as a positive, because that's what he does. He fucking lies about everything. He fucking lies about everything. But yeah, no, this is, yeah, that I mean, just, yeah, I'm done. Yeah, so I will be, at some point, this week, I will be doing a review on, on the first 2 episodes of, Creature Commandos. I don't know what day. I don't know what day yet. All I can say is, it will all I can say is that, it will most probably be at some point this week. And, so definitely, keep an eye out for that. But yeah, like, subscribe, and I will talk to you guys later. Peace.